The transmission came as a faint whisper in the static, buried so deep the system almost discarded it. I was alone in the comms bay, the hum of the deep space station rattling through the panels. At first, I thought it was interference, but then I heard it again. 3 steady pulses, a pause, then a voice. Not a voice like ours. It didn't speak in words, but in tones, rising and falling like a pattern that pushed against my skull. The monitor showed nothing, no signature, no coordinates, just black. That was impossible. Signals didn't come from nowhere. I leaned closer to the receiver. The tones changed, forming something I almost understood, not language memory. For a moment, I smelled burning metal, felt weightlessness press my chest. My eyes watered. When I pulled back, the static cleared. Silence. I tried logging the event, but the system erased the entry before I could save it. Every trace was gone. My hands shook as I reset the console. Then, faintly, the pulses returned. This time, they carried an image. The main screen flickered, lines of static twisting into shape. It was our station floating in the void, but wrong. The panels were shattered, the lights dead, the hull split open like bone. Then I saw myself. I was drifting outside the wreckage, frozen stiff, eyes wide. The camera feed burned out before I could move. The air in the comms bay felt thin. I tried hailing command, but my voice wouldn't carry. The microphone buzzed, but no words came out, only the same 3 pulses. The station lights dimmed, flickering in rhythm. When I left the bay, the corridors were empty. Too empty. The hum of machinery was gone, as if the station itself was holding its breath. I ran to the viewport, desperate for something familiar, and froze. The stars were gone. Nothing but black stretched in every direction. No constellations, no planets, no nebulae. Just a sea of void pressing against the glass. I slapped the emergency sensors, but the nav systems spun blank. Location unknown. Then the signal came again, this time from the speakers, across the entire station. Louder, steady, demanding. The tones burrowed deep, rearranging themselves until they became words I could finally understand. You heard us? The sound rattled the airlocks, shook the floor beneath my boots. My breath came in shallow bursts. I wanted to deny it, to scream that I hadn't heard, that I hadn't answered. But the console lights pulsed in rhythm, proving me wrong. Another flicker on the screen, an image of the station again, but closer this time. My reflection stared at me, only it wasn't me anymore. The eyes were hollow, black pits leaking static. The voice rose, filling every inch of air. You are already part of the signal. The lights went out. The station's hum was gone. The silence pressed against my skull, a silence so heavy it made me feel weightless. I stood in the command deck, every screen dark except one, still pulsing faintly, like it was breathing. I leaned closer. Static rippled, but then it cleared. My own face stared back at me, pale, wide-eyed, but it didn't move when I did. It smiled when I didn't. I stumbled back, and the chair behind me scraped the floor with a screech far too loud for such an empty place. The face on the screen leaned forward, lips moving. The sound that followed wasn't words. It was the same signal that had first reached us, low, grinding, and endless. A frequency that made the blood in my body feel like it was vibrating. Who are you? I whispered, though I already knew it wasn't someone. It was something. The image shifted. My reflection on the screen was still smiling, but behind it, the static parted like curtains. A corridor appeared, lit by broken lights. Someone was walking down it. Someone in a spacesuit, my spacesuit. I turned. The same corridor stretched behind me, dim and flickering. And there, at the far end, was the figure. My stomach turned cold. It was me, moving with the same stagger I had just taken. head tilted slightly, as though it was studying me. I ran. My boots hammered the floor, each clang echoing through the hollow metal shell. The lights above flickered faster, syncing with the pounding in my skull. I turned corner after corner, but every hall was the same dark, endless repeating. And always, just behind me, the sound of my own boots, not in rhythm but chasing. At last, I reached the observation deck again. The void beyond the glass seemed closer now, thicker, like it wanted to pour in. I looked down at the planetless abyss, and for a second, I thought I saw faces shifting in it, pressing against the nothing. The signal rose to a shriek. Lights exploded overhead. Every screen in the room came alive at once, each one showing me hundreds of me walking, staring, smiling. Some were screaming. Some were pressing their helmets to cracked glass. Some had hollow, empty sockets where their eyes should be. The signal cut to silence. My ears rang. And then behind me, I heard breathing. Slow, patient, familiar. I turned, but it wasn't behind me. It was in me. My chest rose and fell, but it wasn't me controlling it. My fingers twitched against my will. My reflection on the central screen smiled again, perfectly matching the expression that now forced itself across my own face. The last thing I saw before the lights snapped out was my own body, standing in the glass reflection, raising a hand in greeting. When darkness took the station, it wasn't empty anymore.